Thanks for tuning in to Red Belt Radio. The following episode is scheduled for one fall. I'm Jason, and this show is dedicated to World Wonder Ring Stardom. Today I'm covering the Stardom 5-star in Hiroshima event, which took place on September 3rd, 2023. This show featured not only 3 powerhouse contests from the ongoing 5-star GP, but also 4 title matches as well. The following contains spoilers for the 5-star special in Hiroshima event, so if you don't want to be spoiled, come back some other time. 5-star special in Hiroshima showcased a lineup that had boatloads of potential, but still needed to clear a few hurdles in order to be considered a great show overall. For instance, all 4 title matches were unlikely to see their champions lose, but these contests still needed to find ways to grip us and show us something new or different. The Grand Prix matches needed to avoid contributing to the tournament fatigue that some viewers might be at risk of falling into. These hurdles were cleared with laughable ease, and while some of the matches had their problems, I was thoroughly impressed with how everyone participating just managed to make things work, in spite of how tough the circumstances were getting for them. It's not difficult to look back on this as a special night, considering the fact that this event falls on the birthday of the late Hana Kimura. There were at least 2 tributes made in her honor. Former Tokyo Cyber Squad member Konami reached out to Hana during her entrance, as did NJPW Strong Women's Champion Julia after delivering Hana's Tiger Lily during the main event. It's possible that I missed other tributes, as I watched this show at a rather late hour. I couldn't help thinking that the gear worn by Momo Watanabe tonight moderately resembles Hana's iconic TCS attire, but I might be jumping to conclusions there. The first match I'd like to discuss is the tag team battle that featured Micah of DDM and the unaffiliated Megan Bayne versus Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May of Club Venus. I have only good things to say about this match. Mina and Mariah seem to be having more fun than anyone on the roster, and their energy really adds a lot. On the other side of the line, Micah and Megan Bayne might very well be the 2 physically strongest women in the company, and putting them together feels downright unfair. I enjoyed getting a preview of Micah's upcoming GP matches with Mina and Mariah, respectively, both of which have a lot of potential. If tonight was any indication, I was also wowed by how strongly booked Megan Bayne continues to be in the aftermath of her attempt at seizing the red belt. In a post-match promo, it was teased that Micah and Megan Bayne will likely team up again, and could even decide to pursue the goddess titles. I think this team has a high ceiling and makes some degree of sense now that Suzu Suzuki and Mei Seira are more definitively working as a duo of their own. Moving on to the GP matches, I couldn't help thinking back to the opening night of this year's tournament. When it's a pay-per-view with the improved video production, larger venues, and commentary team, it's really hard for any of these Grand Prix matches to miss. Everyone operates at such a high level, and Utami Hayashishita versus Momo Watanabe was no exception. Queen's Quest and Oedo Tai have had a fantastic rivalry this year, and this battle deserves to be included in their recent catalog. Momo is so skilled and her character is so rotten that if she ever chose to amplify the existing storylines and rivalries that are available to her, she could very possibly be one of the most talked about competitors Stardom has. Perhaps that's a discussion for another time. Tam Nakano versus Starlight Kid. Very impressive match. And a very tragic result yet again for Starlight Kid. Her character's decline as of late has been a gut-wrenching experience for me as a viewer. But I appreciate how much she is putting into the character arc in terms of performance. She was fighting for her life in there against Tam, literally kicking and screaming until the red belt champion's violet screwdriver silenced her. I loved the moments shared between Tam and SLK after the match was over, while at the same time, I have almost no clue as to what spurred them on. Tam pointed at her red belt at one point, and hence a part of me wonders if Tam was promising Kid that she would be able to seize the red belt herself one day. Also, there have been many rumors about Tam Nakano possibly retiring from wrestling. Maybe these two know something we don't. Maybe their days facing each other have come to a close. It's purely conjecture. I can't praise Starlight Kid and her work this year enough. I just hope this string of devastating losses is leading towards something powerful and something trajectory changing for her. The Dream Tag alongside Azumi and the third meeting in the GP finals with Mayu are both still on track to being incredible. Shuri and Mayu Iwatani are both superpowers, and they demonstrated that during every single minute of their match tonight. The execution and accuracy of their physical work and their character work is hard for most people to reach. They are both really special, and Shuri's gear looked cool as hell. Moving on to the title matches, the high-speed title match between Saki Kashima and Momo Kogo is the one I have the most thoughts about, which is strange because I didn't expect much of anything from this match, and sadly I had not enjoyed Saki Kashima's previous two defenses. Tonight, something changed. Tonight, Saki's title reign found its voice and lined up with the vision I had in mind when I first imagined her as the successor to Azumi's reign. Saki Kashima is arguably the best comedic character in all of Stardom, leveraging her cowardly tactics and her meanness to present a very unique persona in this company. On paper, her defenses can achieve things that Azumi's defenses or anyone's defenses could not. Saki is not going to display the whiplash-inducing technical and acrobatic prowess that Azumi could, nor should she try. Saki is going to display the character-based, comedic, and cowardly in-ring storytelling that will make her matches flow like nothing else on any card can. Tonight, Saki Kashima and Momo Kogo put on great, captivating theater. They played with the common cowardly tactics that Saki is known for, while at the same time they massively progressed Momo's character in light of her own journey. Momo has been bullied and underestimated for the longest time. She's been insulted by the likes of Mariah May, Julia, and Saki Kashima herself. She has continually become fed up with the disrespect and the belittling. And tonight, she let loose on Saki Kashima at every point in time that Saki tried one of her annoying, snarky little tricks. It was glorious and a notably effective turning point for Momo. Gone are the days of Momo acting like Saki's bright-eyed super fan. Do you all remember the dynamic of last year's Grand Prix? Look at how much has changed. This match told such a good story, only for it to fall into the trap of all of Saki's defenses and end without reaching anything near to a climax. This was the expression of where Saki's reign has or had the potential to truly go. One of the most unique title reigns available to Stardom. And now it seems that it might be over before it even started, as May Sarah is set to finally receive her chance. Just talking about this match actually makes me want to go back and rewatch it immediately. The Goddess title match that took place between Saori Ano and Natsupoi of Cosmic Angels and the still unaffiliated Suzu Suzuki and Mei Seira was so overwhelming to the point of being hard to review. As many of you know, Natsupoi and Mei Seira performed a sequence in this match that nearly caused our solar system to fold in upon itself. The match also managed to do a really good job of convincing me that Saori Ano was going to take the fall. Thank the stars for Natsupoi vaulting in to break up that crucial pin attempt. The pairing of Saori Ano and Natsupoi is incredibly valuable. They are two elite performers and storytellers with a chemistry and a rare quality that is hard to adequately describe. Their shared history goes back 8 years, and they know exactly what to do in both improvised and premeditated moments to enrich the theater, enrich the drama, the humor, no matter what situation they seem to find themselves in. If they end up breaking every single Goddess title record and keeping these belts for 2 years straight, I'm not sure I will complain. And yes, bring on Utami Hayashishita and Azumi as the next challengers. That's a winning formula if I have ever seen one. The Wonder of Stardom title match between Mirai of God's Eye and Konami was a really important match for the 2023 white belt picture. I say that because it is helping Mirai's championship run begin to find its voice. Mirai needed someone like Konami to give her a match of this variety, a match where she would be outsmarted, where her arm would be tortured, where her opponent would be ruthless, where she would have to search for answers, where she would have to sell being nearly crippled out there, and she would have to learn to truly be a great champion. It's very early to say, but this title reign might be going places. If Mirai can conceptually keep progressing her matches in this fashion, I think we might be able to look back fondly on her time holding the white belt. The main event felt slightly strange for me to watch. Granted, I was tired and I was obviously missing some of the context or perhaps subtext leading into this battle. Risa Sera making her return to Stardom struck me as very crestfallen, not only in her approach to the ring, but also during the press conference that occurred prior to this event. Her body language and forlorn expression very much stood out in an entertainment medium where bravado and extroversion usually hold sway. I feel like something happened to Julia fairly early on, or perhaps midway through. It could have been going through the table or taking one of the forearms. It could have been almost anything. I'm guessing there are a million ways to get hurt in a given match. She seemed a little out of it, or like she was struggling. A couple of times she had to retry attempting to lift her opponent. Maybe there was a psychological or emotional component in play. Maybe a bit of both. I give her a ton of credit for working through the match, making it work, and closing the show afterwards. The preamble and epilogue of this match seemed to tease that Suzu Suzuki might be joining DDM, in addition to teaming with Julia for the Dream Tag event. All I can say is try to keep an eye on where that goes. Micah is going to face Julia soon as well in the Grand Prix, so maybe there's something in the cards for the DDM faction. I am a long ways off from ever doubting that the wrestlers in Stardom will be able to deliver on the promise of their match cards and lineups. The people who work here are simply too good. They're too creative, too talented, too dedicated, and too watchable. Something has to really go wrong for me to think they will let me down. I'm glad that's the way it is. Thanks for listening to Red Belt Radio.